Hello partners, my name is Janda and welcome back to our channel Invest Smart Education, right? So today I'm going to be your presenter again and we're going to discuss more about listening. In the previous video, we talked about the listening section 1 and now we're going to discuss about section 2 in listening, okay? Now, let's carry on guys, and today as you can see on the screen here, okay, still using the same sources. It's Cambridge IELTS 14 here, as you can see. In here, you see that this is the section 2 of the from the book itself, and then this will be question 11 to 14 here. We're going to focus with that one, and as you can see, this is the multiple choice type of questions. Okay, now remember the first thing that you have to do, you have to read the instruction carefully, and then the instruction here said that choose two letters A and E. Okay, what does it mean, choose two letters and A and E? Okay, remember that this questions is for 11 and 12. It's not for 11 or 12 only. Okay, so how to answer this? It's actually very simple. All you have to do is to answer it one by one. So for example, like this one, 11 and 12, the answer is A and B. 11 is A, 12 is B. Okay, you cannot combine two answers. For example, like 11 is AB and 12 is BA. That is an absolutely wrong thing to do, and you will get an automatic false answer because of that. Okay, now, but the good thing about this part is that they do not care about the position of the answer. So for example, yeah, based on the key answers for number 11 and 12, it's A and B. Number 11 and 12, it's A and B. Okay, 11 is A, 12 is B. Now, what if you answer it B, A? 11 is B, 12 is A, right? It is still considered okay. It doesn't matter as long as you answer it based on the key answers. As long as in the key answers itself, they mention those two letters, then you'll be fine regardless of their position of it. So that's the good thing about this one. So please do remember that, and also that's the understanding of this particular instruction. Okay, okay. Then let's go for the step number 2, which is to see the topic here. The topic is about induction talk for new apprentices. So it's kind of like a preparation or a pep talk to new apprentice here. So it is safe to assume that in this section you're going to listen to maybe a manager or maybe someone who has a higher ups position in a certain company. So you can expect that it can be a woman or it can be a man. So we will see about it later on. Okay, and then the third part is we start to analyze the question itself. Okay, now see the question here, guys, on the screen here. The question is, which two pieces of advice for the first week of an apprenticeship does the manager give? Now, let's see where is the keywords in here. Okay, so the first thing first, it's advice. So you're going to listen to an advice mostly. That's the first thing that you have to do. And first week. Okay, remember that time, whenever you heard time or whatever it is very important that you understand the time frame of the talk itself. And here the time frame is first week. Okay, so you need to listen to that part carefully. And then after that, apprenticeship and the one that the manager give. Okay, so it is safe to assume that we need to pinpoint the advice that was given by the manager to the apprentice in their first week. So you have to carefully pinpoint that information during the audio, when the audio played. Okay, right? There are A until E choices here. There are particularly five choices here. Remember that 2 are the real answer and 3 are just distractors. So you need to be careful with that one. Okay. Now, in case of a multiple choice, can you guys as well predict? Well, it depends. Okay, it depends on the question itself. Some questions you only need to have a logical logical ideas, logical analysis for that one. But for this one, I believe that you should listen and carefully listen to the audio itself. And for question 13 and 14, as you can see here, guys, it's the same thing. Based on the instruction, it mentioned about choose two letters. It's the same thing as well. So remember the rules that I mentioned before. And then but the question here are different. They ask which two things does the manager say mentors can help with. Okay, let's see the key words in here in this one. Okay, so two things managers say mentors can help. Okay, so what are the things that the managers say that mentors can help? Okay, so you need to focus with that one. So what can the mentors help the apprentice itself? Okay, and there are A until E. Again, 2 are real answers, 3 are just distractors. So please do keep in mind to be really careful on what you have to listen. Okay, remember those 4 steps that I mentioned before, and guys, you will be fine. Please you need to focus on the audio, okay, not to everything else. You just have to let everything go before you start the test. Okay, that's why at home it is recommended for you to just study at home as well. Okay, IELTS preparation, it's not only about coming here to the class and you expect in 1.5 hours then you will be fine, you will get 7 or 8 in the classroom. Well, that's absolutely wrong statement. It is a long process, and you have to understand that if you want to do this kind of test, you need to give yourself a large amount of exposure, particularly with the English language. Okay, so I recommend you guys don't forget to study at home as well. Okay, and now let's start on the practice. Okay, this is the moment that you're waiting for. Okay, all right, now I'm going to play the audio, and you guys can listen. Sorry about that. And you guys can listen and try to guess which one is the right answer for it. Okay, after that we're going after the audio play, then we're going to discuss about it. Okay, let's play the sound.
You will hear a manager giving a welcome talk to a group of apprentices who are starting their training at the company. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 14.
Remember, they will give you time. Now you have to focus 11 to 14. So you have to focus on 11 to 14 all the way. Remember, you only have 1 minute to analyze that.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 14.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Janet Parker, and I'm the Human Resources Manager. We're very happy to welcome you to your new apprenticeship. I hope that the next 6 months will be a positive and enjoyable experience for you. I'd like to start with some general advice about being an apprentice. Most of you have very little or no experience of working for a big organisation, and the first week or so may be quite challenging. There will be a lot of new information to take in, but don't worry too much about trying to remember everything. The important thing is to check with someone if you're not sure what to do. You'll find your supervisor is very approachable and won't mind explaining things or helping you out. You're here to learn, so make the most of that opportunity. You'll be spending time in different departments during your first week, so make an effort to talk to as many people as possible about their work. You'll make some new friends and find out lots of useful information. As well as having a supervisor, you'll each be assigned a mentor. This person will be someone who's recently completed an apprenticeship, and you'll meet with them on a weekly basis. Their role is to provide help and support throughout your apprenticeship. Of course, this doesn't mean they'll actually do any of your work for you. Instead, they'll be asking you about what goals you've achieved so far, as well as helping you to identify any areas for improvement. You can also discuss your more long-term ambitions with them as well.
Before you hear the rest of the talk.
Okay. All right, guys. So those are for the questions 11 to 14, right? So can you answer it? Do you think that you're confident with your answers? Then now let's review your answers, okay? Now, first thing first, for number 11 to 12, right? Remember that the questions are focusing with the advice given that will be given by the apprentice, that will be given to apprentice from the manager itself. Okay, there are two advice. Okay, now the first thing that you need to, when you listen to it, if you listen to it carefully enough, okay, so there are two things that mentioned before, and there are plenty of other distractors mentioned, but however, for number 11 to 12, so it's possible that the answer is, the first one is ask a lot of questions. Okay, the first one is they ask a lot of questions, and also get to know colleagues. So it's A and C. Okay, why is that so? Let me repeat the audio again.
With some general advice about being an apprentice. Most of you have very little or no experience of working for a big organisation, and the first week or so may be quite challenging. There will be a lot of new information to take in, but don't worry too much about trying to remember everything. The important thing is to check with someone if you're not sure what to do. You'll find your supervisor is very approachable and won't mind explaining things or helping you out.
So the lady in here mentioned about ask if you do not know. So that's the key there. Ask. So because in here in C there are choices of ask lots of questions, then it is most probably that's the answer from that one. Okay, and remember that, as I mentioned before, the rules of everything is a synonym in listening. It is applied also in question 11 to in section 2, and later on section 3, and so on until the last section, which is section 4. So everything is either part of phrase or it is either in synonym version. So you need to be aware and be vigilant about it. Okay. Now that's for C, guys. And what about A? Okay, is it correct that get to know colleagues? Let's find out.
You're here to learn, so make the most of that opportunity. You'll be spending time in different departments during your first week, so make an effort to talk to as many people as possible about their work. You'll make an effort to talk to a lot of people there, okay? And also in the next couple of seconds later, friends and find out lots of useful information.
Make friends and find lots of useful information. Friends here, if we talk about in a work environment, we can call it as a colleague. A colleague is somebody that you know who work in the same place, and to some extent, it can be also your partner, and it can also be your friend while working in an institution, in a company, or in the other working area. Okay, so that's for number 11 to 12, it's A and C. Okay, B, D, and E, it is to some extent they mention it, but that is not the point of what the manager give you. Okay, so you needed to understand that carefully. Okay, now you can repeat it again if you still don't understand. You can repeat the audio before, and also you can listen to my analysis and advice as well. Okay, now let's continue on with number 13 and 14 now. Okay, now remember that on the question 13 and 14, it's about what two things does the manager say mentors can help with. Okay, so two things that the mentor can help the apprentice itself. Okay, so possibly for number 13 and 14, it's going to be reviewing progress. Okay, going to be either that, it's going to be either that, or it can be also the B. So it's B and E here. Okay, so why is that the answer? Then let's see the audio. Let's
As
hear
well
it.
as having a supervisor, you'll each be assigned a mentor.
Okay.
This person will be someone who's recently completed an apprenticeship, and you'll meet with them on a weekly basis. Their role is to provide help and support throughout your apprenticeship. Of course.
Okay, that's the general part of it. Now, after the general part of it, usually you will hear the details over it. So listen to that one carefully.
This doesn't mean they'll actually do any of your work for you. Instead, they'll be asking you about what goals you've achieved so far, as well as helping you to identify any areas for improvement.
Okay, so their role is to provide what goals that you want to make, and what kind of skills or something that can be improved. Meaning that it's reviewing progress, because again the one that give it away is on the second part of that sentence itself, which is which part that they can improve. So that's mostly mostly in general we call it and also in short terms it's called as reviewing progress, because that's what you do. And then also that's actually the role of mentor, is to reviewing progress. So again, you can think the logical answer for this one. Okay, simply if you understand the role of mentor, so your logical will say that, oh, it's probably E, because that's what mentor is, because that's their job, to review, to help, to support the students by seeing the students, or maybe apprentice in this case, to review the progress itself. Okay. Now, what about B here? Oh, you will hear it on the next part.
You can also discuss your more long-term ambitions with them as well.
You can also discuss a long-term ambition with them. So a long-term ambition here. So which one is that? Confidence building? No, they didn't talk about that. Completing difficult tasks? No, they didn't talk about that. Making a weekly timetable? Are you sure long-term means weekly timetable? It's mostly short-term that way. So with that being said, then B is the truest answer for this one, because a long-term ambition, if you put it into work, it's probably career plans. So career plans is actually the paraphrase of that one, of the long-term ambition, or whatever it is before mentioned. So with that being said, then the answer for question 13 and 14 is B and E. Okay. Now, can you guys answer it correctly? Did you guys answer all of it correctly? If you answer it correctly, then good for you. You may continue watching my next video about listening section 3 here. Okay, and then you can try to challenge yourself. Okay, remember that it is not about perfection, it is all about improvement. Okay, if you always think about the perfection, then you cannot improve. You will not move to a new place, a new direction. Learning from your mistakes is the best thing about studying. So remember to always be motivated. Remember your goals, guys, because mostly if people take IELTS, mostly it's because of scholarship, mostly it's because of working holiday visa, mostly because they just want to study abroad by using their own money, or perhaps they just want to have a new life, migrating in a new place which use English as the medium of the language within that country. So remember that motivation, and you won't lose your goals. Okay, English is very important. Okay, IELTS is just a part of the challenge for you to see how far your English is. Okay, and so that would be it, everybody. And one thing that I need to remind you over section 2 is that it's going to be always systematic. So the audio itself, so the question, the way they put the question itself, it's not randomly placed. So they always going to be systematic. They're going to follow the audio carefully. Each question in here, they follow the audio precisely as well. So they're always going forward, not backward. or even jumbled. So just keep that in mind, okay? As long as you do the 4 steps again, then you'll be fine. Remember the 4 steps? First is understand the instruction. Second, understand the topic. The third one, understand the questions, or perhaps try to analyze and try to predict the answers using your logical analysis, or perhaps just seeing the possible synonyms itself. And the fourth one is, of course, you need to stay focused. To enable you to do the step 4, remember step 2 and 3. So thanks so much, and I will see you in the next video. And we're going to discuss more about listening as well, particularly in section 3. Okay, so we're going to focus section 3 in our next video. Okay, thanks so much, and I will see you again, our partners. Bye bye, and have a nice day.